Hello friends, it's Lisa and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. It's actually going to be the last weekly reading vlog for the month of October because this is the final week of the month, the final week of the trick-or-treat-a-thon. So definitely have a lot of reading I need to do this week. So as of right now, at this point, I have completed 5 of the 9 prompts for the trick-or-treat-a-thon, and I'm really trying to read a book per prompt. I'm not trying to double up. I think if I were to double up, I've probably completed all of the prompts at this point. I think I've completed all of them if I were to double up. I haven't really figured that out. I'm just assuming so, but I'm really trying to read a book for each prompt. So that means that this week I have a lot of reading to do because I have 4 prompts that I still need to complete. I do have a couple of books that I am in the middle of that are going to be counting for the prompts for the readathon, so at least there's that. One of the books I'm reading right now is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I believe I have like just over 100 pages left of this book, so I think I'm going to try and finish it today. And then I will have one more book done and one more prompt done super early on in the week, and then I can focus on the 3 other things that I need to do. I also am still reading Gleanings by Neil Shusterman. So I have read 4 of the 13 short stories so far, and my plan is to read 1 or 2 each night. I am counting this book for the prompt where you have to read a book solely at night, so that is where I'm reading this. It's kind of a bummer that I can't read it throughout the day because I think I'd be able to get through more short stories if I had more time to read it, but I have been waiting to read it in the evenings like I'm supposed to for the prompt. But yeah, if I continue to read 1 or 2 short stories every day for the rest of the month, I'll definitely finish this in time. There's going to be some days where I have to double up just because there's, I think, 9 short stories left and we only have like 7 or 8 days left of the month. So definitely gonna have to double up a couple times, and honestly I wouldn't mind doubling up so then I can finish this even sooner. But yeah, definitely gonna be finishing this week as well. And hopefully the short stories get better because so far I've really only liked 1 of the 4 that I've read so far. So hopefully it gets better as I continue on. And then for my audiobook that I'm currently listening to, I'm currently doing a reread of Gilded by Marissa Meyer. This I'm not counting towards the readathon. I don't think it could count for any of the prompts that I have left. Out of the 4 prompts that I have left and the 2 that I'm currently working on, the other 2 are to read a backlisted book and to read a book set in the real world, and I don't really think this definitely can't count for the real world one, and I don't think this could really count as a backlisted book because this only came out in November of last year. It hasn't even been a full year yet, so I don't know if this could really count for that. But yeah, I'm gonna continue to listen to the audiobook for this, and I also hopefully will finish it this week because I think my hold returns to Libby in like a few days. So definitely need to finish this up before the end of the month as well. And then like I said, if I complete all of those things, I still have 2 prompts left to complete, and I know when I'm reading for them, I'm gonna actually grab the books. I should have done that before I sat down to film. I feel like this is a constant problem that I have. I never have the books I want to talk about. Okay, so the 2 books that are left on my TBR for the 2 prompts I have left, I kind of clowned myself with leaving one of the biggest books on my TBR for the end of the month, but it's okay. So the book that I'm counting for the backlisted title prompt is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. You know, a light, easy, quick read. I mean, to be fair, the Shadowhunter books do read very quickly, so even though this is quite a chunky book, I have a feeling I'm gonna be able to fly through it, so hopefully I can get to this by the end of the week and get it done. We'll see if that happens. And then the other prompt I have left is to read a book set in the real world. So I was planning on doing a reread of Truly Devious and then reading the rest of the series. I really wanted to do a week-long vlog where I read the whole series, but I think because I'm planning on doing a 24-hour readathon at some point this week, I may just read this series in that 24-hour readathon and see how far into the series I can get. I was kind of already thinking that that might be what I want to do, and then I actually got a comment on, I think, my vlog from 2 weeks ago now at this point, and someone suggested that I do that, so I think it's a great idea. So I think my 24-hour readathon is going to be me trying to read the Truly Devious series in 24 hours. I'm very excited. I'm excited to reread this because I really don't remember anything about this. I don't remember how the like mystery in the current timeline concludes. I don't remember anything. So I'm excited to reread it. I'm excited to read the series. I know Brittany from Brittany and Books recently like marathoned this series and just absolutely loves it, which makes me excited to continue on because I actually read this like, I think it was October of 2020, and I haven't continued on with the series, and I was kind of like, I'm gonna need some motivation to finish this, or I'm just gonna get rid of this book and just not continue on with the series. So knowing that Brittany has read it recently and loved it has definitely given me that motivation to actually read through the series. So hopefully I can do that 24-hour readathon and read. I know I'll be able to read this in the 24-hour readathon, but hopefully read the whole series. I think that that would be really fun. So yeah, I have quite a lot of things to get through in this this vlog. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to read all this. To be fair, I've already started Gleanings. The Dead Romantics is almost done. Truly Devious is a reread, so is Gilded, and it's an audiobook. So like this is maybe doable. But again, if I do a 24-hour readathon, I'm going to read like hopefully the whole Truly Devious series. If anything, like the first 3 books in that series, like the main first trilogy. We'll see how this goes. This is I did not plan my month out reading-wise very well. I left a lot of it to the end, so at least it'll be an entertaining vlog to see if I can do it. Place your bets now on if I actually get through all of these books. My bet is on that I do not complete them all, but I'm really gonna try my best. I'm going to beat the odds. Okay, so despite everything trying to distract me last night, I do have lots of reading updates. I did do actual reading last night. Imagine that. There was a Pats game on last night, so I did watch some of it. I had it on the whole time, but I kind of stopped paying attention in the third quarter because we were not doing well. So I was like, this is just embarrassing. I'm just not gonna pay attention anymore. And I was trying to read while I was watching the Patriots game, and then also Taylor Swift was on Jimmy Fallon, and she released the Bejeweled music video, which there's so much to unpack in that music video. There were so many Easter eggs in that music video. I'm sure we haven't even seen like half of them. There were so many, but definitely Speak Now, Taylor's version, I think is the next re-recording we're getting. There were just so many signs pointing to Speak Now, Taylor's version being next, and I'm going to be so unbearable when I hear Enchanted and Last Kiss, Taylor's version, and also just like a sobbing mess at Long Live. Like it's gonna be great. Also Dear John, Taylor's version, it's gonna be so good. I'm so excited, but also I think people have kind of figured out the order of her re-recordings. It seems like the kind of scene at the beginning of the music video with Laura Dern and the Haim sisters, it seems like they say something about speak not. Like Laura Dern says that to Taylor Swift, and then they also say something about clean, and then she says swiftly, and then they call Taylor a snake. So speak not, speak now, clean, 1989, swiftly, debut, calling her a snake, Reputation. So I think that's the order of the re-recordings, which is really cool that she kind of put that in there, and hopefully that's right, because I think that would be really cool if that was what she did. I'm not ready. It's just, I'm gonna be a mess. Every re-recording, every one that comes out, I'm just not mentally prepared. Like, what are the vault tracks for Speak Now? Also, the vault tracks for Reputation, I'm so excited to hear those whenever we get to that point because I bet they're gonna be so good. But yeah, despite all of those distractions, the fact that I was trying to watch like 50 different things and read while this was happening, I did do some reading. I did read another short story in Gleanings. I read, I think, the 5th short story and didn't love it. It kind of gave me the vibes of Stranger Things season 2 episode, what episode is it? Do I actually know? I think it might be episode 7. It's the one where Eleven like goes off on her own in season 2. It kind of gave me those vibes, but I just didn't care. So I don't know. This isn't going well. I've really only liked one, and I am like rating all of them individually so that I can kind of get an average rating at the end of the book. So when I go to rate it on like Goodreads and Storygraph, I'll know kind of what I want to rate it. But so far, the average rating is not good. Let me actually figure that out. Okay, so with the ratings that I have given the first like 5 short stories so far, the average rating is a 2.7. So it's not going well, but hopefully it will get better as we go along. I feel like looking at some of the titles for some of the other short stories that I haven't read yet, I definitely feel like there's some that are promising. So yeah, hopefully it gets better, but so far this isn't going great. But what is going great is the fact that I finished The Dead Romantics last night, and I was an absolute mess. I truly think the last like 100 pages of this book just really got me. It was so funny because I feel like at the beginning of this week and like at the end of last week's vlog, the way I was feeling about this book was I was liking it, but I wasn't obsessed with it. And I feel like the last 100 pages just really, they really got me. I was also saying that I think this is a book that as I was reading it, I was unsure about how I was feeling about the tone of the book. And it was the type of book that I think I needed to get to the end and see how everything wrapped up and kind of came together in the end to see how I felt about like the bigger picture of the book. I really like the way that the last like 100 pages played out. I literally was sobbing reading this book last night. There was a point where I was crying a lot, and then I finally stopped crying, and then I got to the end and I started crying again, and I was just a mess. I don't know. I feel like the way this book discussed grief was just really well done. And I don't know, it just like really hit me in the way that she kind of discussed it. And I think like, especially at the end, this kind of goes hand in hand with me not really knowing how I felt about kind of the tone of this book, how it was dealing with a loss of a loved one and grief and all of these sad kind of things, and her editor being this ghost and dealing with potentially having to lose him, dealing with all of that stuff on top of it being like a romance with her and her ghost editor. So there was a focus on those more like sad things, but then there was also this romance developing and these more like funny and lighthearted and romantic moments between the characters and the banter that they had. So the tone felt a little confusing for me for a bit, but I feel like in the end, I do think like grief and love can kind of go hand in hand. Grief and loss and that sadness that you feel, but also love and hope and all of that can kind of cross over with one another. And I think it was just really well done in the way that it discussed those two things and the way those two things kind of played hand in hand. So yeah, I think it was confusing reading this book at first with the two very different emotions going on. And I think at the end, like it really made sense the way that they kind of came together. Like I think they worked well together. I think she connected the two well. And I think there were a lot of really great like messages to do with grief and loss, but also love and hope and all of these things. And I just really liked it. Did I say what I rated this book? I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. I'm so glad that I really enjoyed it. I was like pretty confident that I was going to enjoy this book like before reading it, when I bought it and everything, because I was just really excited for this release. I really liked the premise. I was just really excited for it. And then when I started seeing some of my friends' reviews, like Andrea, Casey, and Salma all gave it like 3 or 3.5 stars, I think. And so that made me a little bit more nervous, but I should have, just trusted my gut because I did really enjoy this. I just really loved it. I feel like I've talked a lot about like the grief aspect of this book, and that's like been what I've been talking about a lot when I've been talking about this book, but I did really like the romance as well. I really liked Ben as a love interest. He's one of those like fictional male love interests that was like almost like too perfect that it's like unrealistic, but I'm reading a book where he becomes a ghost. So like I'm already here for the unrealistic vibes. And also like when I'm reading a romance, I want a man to be great. Like it was just great to read. He was great. So aren't you so glad you came here for book reviews? I'm just so eloquent and with my thoughts. Anyway, so yeah, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars, and it was kind of funny last night. I was like, as I was rating the book like on Goodreads and Storygraph and figuring out my rating, I was sobbing the whole time. So I was like, maybe when I'm a little bit separated from the book and have a little bit more of a clear head, I can think about my rating and think about maybe if the 4.5 is a little bit more generous. I was thinking maybe it would be a 4. But then when I woke up this morning, I was like, no, maybe it's a 5. Maybe it's a 5-star read. So I think a 4.5 is what I'm going to go with for now because it feels perfectly in the middle of what I want to give it. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. And what's funny is I finished the book and I was like, even though like this whole time I was reading, I was like, this book made me so sad and I was sobbing. I was like, I think this could be a fun reread. I think this would be a great book to maybe reread in the future. I don't know if it would be the type of book I'd want to reread like every October, every Halloween kind of thing, because it is very heavy, not heavy, but just a little bit more sad. So I don't know if it's something I'd want to reread like all the time, every year, but it's definitely something that I could see myself rereading again in the future. There definitely were a lot of moments when I was reading this book that I was like, this would be a great passage to underline and tab, which like I have tabs. I had that power. I could have been doing it, but something about annotating a book on the first way through, I'm like, I don't know. I don't do that often. I tend to annotate like on rereads or if it's a book that I'm really excited about. So I don't know. I didn't annotate it, but I definitely think that I could see myself rereading it and annotating it then. I just really liked it. It made me very emotional. It made me feel a lot of emotions, not just like sad emotional, like happy emotional. The whole ending of this book just made me sob. So yeah, finished this, 4.5 stars, and I am counting this for the Trick or Treat-a-thon. I counted this for the Slumber Party Massacre prompt, which is to either buddy read a book or start or read a book during a live show. So yeah, another prompt done. Very excited because we are in the final week and I definitely have to do a lot of reading. So I'm happy that I completed a prompt so early on in the week. So now I just have 3 prompts left, and I was thinking I'm going to do a 24-hour readathon tomorrow, and my plan is to read as much of the Truly Devious series in that 24 hours as possible. So hopefully I can get through like at least the main trilogy in that 24 hours, but we'll see. But I feel like I'll be able to at least read the first 2 books in that series, and I feel like if I don't end up finishing City of Heavenly Fire for this readathon and in this month, then I can count the second Truly Devious book for the prompt I'm counting City of Heavenly Fire for. Is this making sense? I don't think so. And knowing that I have that backup plan, knowing that I can count at least the second book in the Truly Devious series for the readathon makes me more confident that I'll be able to get through all of the books and all of the prompts for this readathon, so that's very exciting. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to be doing a 24-hour readathon tomorrow, so I'm going to take a little pause in this vlog. It's going to be a second for you, it's going to be a day for me, but I'm going to pick this vlog back up on Thursday, and hopefully I'll have some other reading updates for you all then. Well, hello friends, and welcome back to this vlog, at least for me. It's now Thursday. The 24-hour readathon has officially ended, and it was very successful. I will have the vlog linked below if you want to go and check it out. I would really appreciate it if you did. But yeah, it was a very successful 24-hour readathon, so I'm very happy that I did that, and I did manage to read 3 things, and all of them were books in the Truly Devious series. So my plan was to count Truly Devious, the first book in the series, for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre prompt, which is to read a book set in the real world, so basically just like not a fantasy. So that completed a prompt, but then I realized that the other 2 books in the series that I read in that vlog could count for the 2 other prompts that I have yet to complete for this readathon. The Vanishing Stare could count for the Nightmare on Elm Street prompt, which is to read a book completely at night, because I did read that all last night. And then the Hand on the Wall, which is the 3rd one, could also count for the I Know What You Did Last Summer prompt, which is to read a backlisted title. And the Hand on the Wall, I think, was published in 2020, so that could definitely count as a backlisted book. So realistically, I have completed every prompt for this readathon if I were to count the Truly Devious series and the books I read for that for the readathon. And I think I'm still going to try and read Gleanings and City of Heavenly Fire for the Triggered readathon and count them towards the prompts I originally wanted to. But if I don't manage to finish both of those books, then I can at least count the other books in the Truly Devious series towards the readathon. So either way, I'm going to complete every prompt, but I'm going to try to still stick with my TBR and like what I originally wanted to read. But technically I've completed every prompt. So regardless, this has been a success. And I did it without doubling up on any books and any prompts, so I'm very happy with that. I'm happy that I managed to read plenty of things to count for the readathon this month. But we're going to see how the rest of this week goes, because I do want to read City of Heavenly Fire before the end of the week, and I haven't even started it yet. And it's kind of a thicker book, so we'll see if I end up getting to it, or at least finishing it this month, but I would like to try. And I'm still in the middle of Gleanings and Gilded, but I haven't read anything in the past day of either of those books because I've been doing the 24-hour readathon, so still at the same points as I was yesterday with those. So yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of the week reading Gilded, Gleanings, and hopefully starting and finishing City of Heavenly Fire, but it's kind of, I feel like, an ambitious plan for 5 days. How many days left of the month are there? There's today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 5 days, okay. I mean, it's possible that I can do it. I can potentially read all of those things and finish all of those things in 5 days, but we'll see. I also realized, like, while I was doing that 24-hour readathon, like, I'm very close to reading or hitting 100 books read this year. I don't know what's happening. I have never in my life done that before. The most I've read, I think, was last year, and I think I read like 78? Is that how many I read? It was somewhere in the 70s, like mid to upper 70s, I think. But I'm currently at 92 books read this year, so I'm definitely getting to 100. I have to do it now. I didn't even think that that was going to be possible, but now I think I'm going to probably even surpass 100, which is just so wild to me. I mean, I probably should just get to 100 first before I'm saying I'm going to surpass it, but I'm very impressed with myself. I did not think that that would ever be me. I always see lots of people, you know, reading 100 books in a year, and I just never understood, but now I'm very close to doing the same thing. So yeah, that'll be really exciting when I hit 100 books read this year. I kind of wanted to do that this year. My goal on Goodreads and Storygraph is, what is it? I think it's 65, which I hit quite a while ago. But my thing is, I'd like to make my goals like challenging, but not like unreasonable, and I don't want to have to be like stressed about my Goodreads goal, because that's just, I don't need more stress in my life. I'm already stressed enough. I don't need to be stressed over something like that. So I normally keep my goal pretty reasonable and something that I'm relatively positive that I can do, but I kind of had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to get to 100 books this year, and I figured like now is the time to try and do that. So I think I'm going to be able to do it, which I'm very happy with that. But yeah, I just wanted to update that I finished the 24-hour readathon, so I'm back to focusing on the other books books on my Trick or Treat-a-thon TBR, but very happy that I read the Truly Devious books. I read the first 3. Spoilers for the 24-hour readathon vlog if you haven't watched it yet, but the first 3 in the series are the ones that kind of follow the same storyline, and then I think the other books that she's been releasing, like she released one I think last year and there's another one coming out this year, but I think those are all like different storylines, so I am glad that I at least read the ones in like the original series. But yeah, I think that that's it. I just wanted to update after doing the 24-hour readathon and let you know where I was at reading wise, and I'm thinking I'll be able to do some more reading tonight if I'm in the mood. I feel like sometimes after 24-hour readathons I'm like, yeah, I don't want to read a book ever again. But I am going out to go to my sister's final wedding dress fitting today, which is very exciting, and then my sister and her fiance are coming over for dinner, so I don't know like how much time I'm gonna have to read tonight. If I have time, I maybe will. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in. But I do hope that I can have some time to read at some point tonight. But if not, we still have the whole weekend. So I think I'm in good shape. I mean, we'll see how far into the other books I get. I don't know. City of Emily Fire, I so clowned myself by leaving the biggest book till the end of the month. So we'll see if I manage to finish that. But if not, I've at least completed all of the prompts for the readathon with the Truly Devious series. So very happy about that. All right, friends, it's now Friday and I'm just checking in, because I don't have that much of an update. I haven't done that much reading. I did listen to some of the Gilded audiobook this morning and I'm now 38% of the way through. I have like just under 10 hours left of the audiobook and I think that's due on Sunday, so I'm gonna try my best to listen to it and get it done before I have to return it. But I mainly just wanted to update because you may be wondering, this is a weird vlog for Lisa. There's been no b-roll, there's been no Sam content, there's been no music. What's going on? And that's because squeaky chair. But that's because yesterday I was trying to free up some space on my phone and, long story short, accidentally deleted the video folder on my phone, thinking it was the recently deleted folder. And then when I checked my recently deleted folder and saw these things, like, oh, that's weird, and then deleted that. So all the videos on my phone are gone. Today's been a day. It's almost 5 p.m. and all today I've just been crying on and off, but that's because of some other technology issues. My laptop has also been giving me trouble today, so it's just been not a good day. But with the like videos and stuff, like I feel like I've gone through the 5 stages of grief. Is it 6 stages? I don't know. I've gone through them all. And I think I'm at the point where I've like accepted that those videos are gone. It's a bummer and I'm upset about it, but there are a lot of videos that like other people, like my friends and family, have that I can get from them. Like the concerts that I went to this year, I can get some videos from the people I went with that took videos and get them from them. Like I was thinking, like when I met Darian, all of those videos were gone, but she has all the videos on her phone, so she's gonna send them to me, which is very nice of her. Also, another thing that I was thinking is I'm so lucky where I've filmed things and documented things for my vlogs over the past couple of years since I last did the backup. Did I explain that? I don't know. I'm all frazzled. Basically, the last time I backed up my phone was like a couple years ago, so I have all the videos from a couple years ago, and before that it's just like the most like recent year or two that I don't have videos from, but that's good. Like I thought I didn't lose everything. Like I have my other videos and stuff like on my laptop. So yeah, it's just the things from like the past couple of years that I'm missing. But like I was saying, like I'm so lucky where I vlog and film things and document things and include them in my vlogs, so there are a lot of things I was like, oh, I don't have that video anymore. Or like I got really upset when I realized that there's a lot of videos of Sam that I don't have on my phone anymore. But I'm like, I include pretty much every video I ever take of Sam in my vlogs, as you probably know, because he's always there. I think he takes up more of my vlogs than I do. So it's like, I know that I have those things documented on my YouTube channel, which is really nice to know as well. So obviously there's a lot of videos and stuff that I didn't put online. Like I don't even know, like my sister got her hedgehog a couple years ago. I don't even know if I have the videos of when he arrived at her house for the first time and she got him. Like I don't know if I have those anymore. Like it's just, there's a lot missing, but it's gonna be okay. I think I've come to accept it a little bit. I'm sure I'll cry again later on because I've just been crying on and off all day. Part of the reason I've also been upset today is because I have no storage on my laptop for some reason. Can't figure out what is taking up the storage that I need. I don't know. So I was like gonna edit my 24-hour readathon vlog today, but I didn't have the storage on my laptop to edit it. So it's been a day. A lot of crying has occurred. But I'm feeling a little bit better now. I think like the laptop thing, I'll figure it out. And I know that I can get a lot of the videos that I had on my phone since my last like backup. I can get them back on my phone. So it's not the end of the world. I can get videos from other people too. So it's just, it is what it is. It happened And I don't know if there's any way for me to recover these photos that like I deleted from the recently deleted folder. So like they're gone, but like there may be a way to get them back. I really don't know. But yeah, that's basically the update. Just that technology has not been on my side today. And hopefully this weekend, like I can just chill and just take care of myself because it's been a day, and the rest of this vlog will have b-roll, so at least there's that. I'll make up for lost time. I'll film lots of videos of Sam to include in this vlog. And I'm going over to see my Nana tonight, and as I said in last week's vlog, my Nana got a kitten, so I'm gonna be able to cuddle a kitten tonight, which I think might help me a little bit. I think it might put some perspective into these things and just make me happy. So at least there's that. And hopefully like I'll be in the mood to read later on tonight. Maybe that will help just calm me down a little bit, make me feel a little bit better. And I also still need to edit my 24-hour readathon vlog, but we'll get there. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go finish getting ready to head over to have dinner with my Nana, and I will hopefully check in with you guys soon with more b-roll. And I will also hopefully have read a little bit more because I don't have a lot of reading updates for you all, but that's okay. Hello friends, happy Halloween! Today is the 31st of October. This vlog's gonna be going up after Halloween, but it's Halloween for me. So happy Halloween. So I normally end my vlogs on Sundays or Mondays typically is when I end up filming the outro, but I'm gonna keep vlogging today just because it is Halloween and it might be fun to document whatever I end up getting up to today, which is probably not much. My plan is to eat some candy and watch Over the Garden Wall and maybe Hocus Pocus. Like, I don't have a very exciting Halloween plan for today. I don't even think we're handing out candy for trick or treat tonight because me and my parents are really trying it to avoid interacting with a lot of people because we're really trying hard not to get sick before my sister's wedding, which is not this weekend, but next weekend. That's wild that it's so soon. But we're really trying to avoid getting sick, so I don't think we're gonna hand out candy. And we didn't hand out candy last year because I did have COVID last year on Halloween, so I'm sad I'm not gonna see any cute kids like in cute Halloween costumes today, but that's okay. I'm just gonna spend today and this evening like watching Halloween movies. I really want to watch Over the Garden Wall because I haven't watched it this year and I really want to rewatch it. So hopefully I can do that today and celebrate Halloween that way. But anyway, I do have some reading updates for you all. I have done some reading this past weekend. So first of all, I did finish my reread of Gilded by Marissa Meyer, which I wasn't counting this for the Trick or Treat-a-thon. I just wanted to do a reread of this to prepare for the sequel that's coming out soon. I think it comes out November 8th, so next week, which is very exciting. But yeah, I finished this and I did end up lowering my rating. I gave it a 4, which is obviously not like that dramatic. I still really enjoyed it, but I think the first time I read it, I gave it a 4.75, which is so oddly specific. And I don't know why I did that, but it's fine. I feel like when Storygraph gives you the power to be that specific, I'm going to be specific with my ratings, you know? But I did decide to lower my rating for this. I ended up giving it a 4. Still a good rating. Obviously, I still had a good time listening to it. The audiobook was really good. I think the narrator that she has for like all of her books is the one who did the audiobook for this. So I really enjoy the audiobook narrator. I think it's Rebecca Soler who does Marissa Meyer's audiobooks. So really liked listening to that. And I feel like it kind of helped with how kind of slow this story is. There definitely were still moments like, especially in the middle where the story kind of drags a little bit. It's slow in a draggy way. And it also like definitely has some repetitive times as well. But the story itself is just, I think, a bit of a slower story, which I don't mind, but there are moments where it drags a little bit. But the audiobook definitely helped with getting through those kind of slower, repetitive moments, but I still really enjoy it. I think even though, like, yes, technically this is a reread, so it's not like a super new world or new characters or anything, but even when I read this book for the first time, I felt this way, and that's like, even when I'm getting introduced to a new world that Marissa Meyer has created, new characters, all of that, it's still very comforting to read her books. I think just because her writing is so familiar that it's just very like, I don't know, it's just very like comforting to read her books. So even though this probably isn't my favorite Marissa Meyer book that she has written, I still really enjoy it and it still like has those comforting feelings, you know? And the ending of this book is still wild. Obviously this time around I knew what to expect. I knew what was going to be happening because I've read this before, but it was still just as wild. And I do feel like this book has set up a really interesting premise for the sequel. I definitely feel like this reread got me really excited for Cursed, and it definitely like prepared me a little bit more because I think I forgot some of the details. There were a lot of things I did remember. I think I would have been fine if I went into Cursed without a reread, but I'm glad I did reread it because it just made me really excited for Cursed. So yeah, finished this, 4 stars, and I didn't count this for the trick-or-treat-a-thon, but I did finish another book that I did count. So I did finish Gleanings last night, and I'm counting this for the Nightmare on Elm Street prompt, which is to read a book at night. So I only read short stories from this collection at night, which I think was just like what I would have probably done anyway, but it just really worked for this prompt. So I finished this last night. I kind of had like the last like 150 pages, I think, left of this. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to finish it tonight, because I just wanted it to be done. So I ended up giving Gleanings 3 stars, which I think was probably a bit of a generous rating. What I did was I went through and rated each story individually and then found the average of all of the ratings that I had, and then that was going to be what I based my rating off of. And when I found the average rating, it was like a 2.96 or something like that. It was somewhere in there. It was 2.9 something. I ended up just giving it a 3. I just rounded up a little bit, but like it wasn't technically a 3-star. And yeah, I don't know. There were just a lot that I wasn't that into. I think I was saying this earlier in the week about this short story collection, that this world is just really interesting. So even the short stories that I didn't necessarily love the actual story that we read, the world is still interesting. So it was interesting to get more perspectives from this world and see things that maybe we only saw bits and pieces of in the original series and expand upon that. But also there were a lot of things that we didn't even see in the original series that were shown in this book and we saw stories about in this book. So it was interesting to see familiar but also new things from this world. But like there were a lot of short stories where the actual stories were very underwhelming. Let's see, let me pull up the little note I was taking where I was rating each one. So there were 13 short stories in total, and I ended up giving out 0 5-stars. There were no 5-star short stories from me. There were 4 4-stars. There were 3 3-stars. And then the rest were 2 stars, and then there was one that I gave 1.5. So not like the most successful short story collection in my opinion. Also, if you are excited for the short story collection, if you like the series, like I would still recommend it. Like it was interesting seeing different aspects of this world. I do think part of my issue with this is just because it's been so long since I've read this series. The final book in the Scythe trilogy came out in 2019, so that was 3 years ago. And I do feel like if this had come out closer to when that series was being published, I might have enjoyed this a lot more. I think I would have been a little bit more excited about it, a little bit more invested, but I think there's just been too much time in between that my investment in the series has kind of gone down a little bit. So yeah, I do think that part of it is just like a me thing, and the fact that it's been so long since I've read this series, and I definitely feel like my investment in this series has dwindled over the years a bit. But there definitely were still some short stories in here that I did enjoy. I feel like the ones that I really enjoyed were the ones where we followed characters, or we saw like bits of characters that we recognized from the original series. There still were some that I enjoyed that followed characters that we had no idea who they were. This was the first time we were seeing them, but I think the ones that I enjoyed the most are where I felt like I knew who the characters were and was like able to connect it to the original series. But yeah, there were a lot of short stories. I got to the end of them and I was just like, okay, why? I just did not care at the end of them. And again, like there were some short stories that I read where I didn't recognize characters. This was the first time we were hearing of them, and I enjoyed the short stories still. So it wasn't even just that like I didn't like any where we saw new characters, because that's not true. It was I think a mix of like the ones that I didn't like, it was I didn't recognize characters, and the actual stories were very underwhelming. I just think there were some short stories that were more successful in introducing us to new characters, new parts of this world, and introducing us to different things that maybe we didn't see in the original series, and were more successful in that than other short stories. Some I just did not care at all. So I definitely had a bit of a mixed experience with this. There were some that I liked, some I really didn't like, and I just feel like that's how short story collections go for me typically. But yeah, I don't know. I would still recommend it if you still like want to read this and are excited about it and like the series. I don't want to scare people off from reading this because you might enjoy them more than I did. There were just a lot that I just didn't really care and got to the end of them and was just like, Okay, that was a thing that I read, I guess. But I'm just happy that I read it and I finished it. And I did count it for the readathon. I counted it for the Nightmare on Elm Street prompt. So very happy about that. And I have decided to count one of the books in the Truly Devious series for the final prompt that I had left. The one that I was originally going to count City of Heavenly Fire for. I was originally going to count this for the I Know What You Did Last Summer prompt, which is to read a backlisted title. But considering I only just started it this weekend and I'm on page 16, there's no way I'm finishing this 700-page book all today. It's not going to happen. So I'm definitely not counting this for the readathon, but I think I'm going to count The Vanishing Stair for that prompt instead, because I think that book came out in 2019, I think it was 2019, and we're considering anything that was published before this past year to be a backlisted title. So it counts, but that means that I've completed all of the prompts for the Trick or Treat-a-thon. I'm very excited. And not only was I able to complete all the prompts, I was able to do that without doubling up. So very proud of myself for that as well. I'll probably go over all of the prompts and all the books that I read for the Trick or Treat-a-thon in the outro of this vlog, but I'm still going to keep vlogging today because today is Halloween. So I got to document that. I got to document the spooky day when I've been vlogging this whole spooky season. But yeah, very happy with what I managed to read this month. And I mean, City of Heavenly Fire, hopefully I'll be able to read some today, but I'm definitely not going to finish this by the end of the month. But I basically got to the point in the prologue, like if you've read this book before, it starts off great. And then the prologue like takes a turn and it gets sad, and I just didn't want to read it because I knew it was going to happen. So I just stopped before we got to that point. But like I'm going to have to proceed at some point and just read the sad things that happened in this book and just accept it. So hopefully I can read some of this today as well. But yeah, definitely can't count it for the readathon. There's no way I'm finishing this book. This book is over 700 pages long. That's just on me for waiting until the end of the month to start this. All right, friends, it is now November 1st. So first of all, Merry Christmas. But it is November 1st, which means that October and the Trick or Treat-a-thon has come to an end. Yesterday was Halloween and it was a super chill Halloween. I ended up watching Over the Garden Wall, which was so fun to rewatch. I just think that that show was so cute and so funny. Like there are so many like genuinely funny moments in that show, and it's a kid's show. It just like, it has me cracking up. So I totally recommend watching it even now. Like I know spooky season has kind of ended, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who want to continue spooky season into November, and I highly recommend watching it. But I watched that, and then I also watched Hocus Pocus kind of twice. I put it on Disney Plus, and then when that ended, it was on Freeform, and it had like just started, so I watched it again. And me, Darian, and Casey did a Zoom call, did some reading, but it was just a very chill Halloween, which is what I like. That's what I wanted. But yeah, definitely can't count City of Heavenly Fire for the Trick or Treat-a-thon because I'm only on page 63. So I think I'm like halfway through chapter 2. So definitely can't count this for the readathon. But I did successfully complete all of the prompts anyways. So very happy about that. Let's go over actually what I read and all the prompts I completed. So the first prompt was for Halloween, and that was to read a book that gave you autumnal vibes. So for this, I read The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. Also, I'm going to have all my vlogs from this month linked below if you want to go back and watch them if you want to hear my thoughts on any of these books. But also for Friday the 13th, that was to read a book with a number in the title, and I read 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. For Nightmare on Elm Street, that was to read a book completely at night, so I ended up reading Gleanings by Neil Shusterman, which is what I read in this vlog, and I gave it 3 stars. Didn't love it. And then for Child's Play, that was to read a middle grade book, so I read Sourceline by Sylvia Douillet. And then for Scream, that was to read a book that will keep you guessing, so for this, I read The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. For Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that was to read a book that was taking place in the real world, so just not a fantasy, and that is what I ended up counting Truly Devious for. For I Know What You Did Last Summer, that was to read a backlisted book, which was what I was originally going to count City of Heavenly Fire for, but obviously that's not going to happen. But I did end up counting The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. For Slumber Party Massacre, that was to read a book either during a live show or start a book during a live show, or to buddy read a book. And for this, I read The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston, which I also finished this book in this vlog, and I really loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. This book just really hurt my feelings. And then finally, for My Bloody Valentine, that was to read a book that features a romance. So I read The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. And I definitely had some good books that I read this month, but The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, I think, is my favorite book that I read this month. I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun, so cute, and I just really loved it. So if you're gonna take anything out of all of these vlogs that I put out in the month of October, it's to read that book. But yeah, it was a very successful readathon. I read 9 different books for each individual prompt, and I didn't have to double up at all. Plus, I did read some other bonus things throughout the month as well. I don't know what's happening. The past few months, I've just been like a reading machine. At least for me. Like, I've been reading like at least 10 books a month the past few months, and I don't know what's going on. That is not typical for me. But it was just such a fun month to focus on reading some spooky reads and celebrate Halloween with you all, and also doing this readathon with some of my closest friends on BookTube. It's so much fun every year, and shout out to them. Thank you all so much for doing this readathon again this year, and it was just so much fun, and hopefully we'll be back next year. But yeah, I think that is going to be my final vlog for this readathon and for October. Definitely let me know if you participated in the Trick or Treat-a-thon, how it went for you, how many prompts did you complete, did you read any good books, do you have any new favorites? I'd love to know. Also, even if you didn't participate in the readathon, I'd love to know anything that you read in the month of October, anything that stood out to you, any new favorites. I just want to hear all about your October reads, but I think that is going to be it for this week's vlog. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.